I am the Bronx. When I'm in the Bronx, I realize that, much of me being who I am is based on that borough I'm from. Bronx is always, it's the one with the "the" in front of it.
My name is Valerio. I'm 53 years old, and I was born in the Dominican Republic.
Crespo, I'm 41 years old. My nationality is Dominican. I was born in New York, in Bronx, New York. My family's from the Dominican Republic.
David Hernandez. I am 52 and I'm of Puerto Rican descent.
Jasmine Sanchez. My age is 14 years old. I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican.
My name is Eric Crespo. My nationality is Dominican American. My age is 39 years old.
My name is Zanesi Baez. I am 51 years old, and I am from the Dominican Republic.
My name is Joel Rodriguez. I'm 18 years old, and I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican.
I immigrated in 1974 or 73. I was 14 or 15. At the beginning, I was scared because I didn't know, about races and the division between the races, even among Hispanics and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. I didn't know that. That was new to me.
My parents left the Dominican Republic in the early 1960s after the overthrow of the dictator Rafael Leonidas Trujillo.
It was my father's decision to move to the Bronx. They used to live in New York City, Alphabet City.
They knew someone in the Bronx, and that person told them it was a safe place to come.
My father had met my mother in their hometown in Puerto Rico, but my mother's family did not approve of the relationship and sent my mother to New York. My father still wanted to marry her, so he came to New York after her in maybe the mid-1950s.
I lived, they call it Mortisania section of the Bronx, 170th and
I
Walton.
believe it was the west part of the Bronx.
I lived on the west side of the Bronx.
The section of the Bronx I lived in was the southeast Bronx. Southwest Bronx, excuse me. Right near Yankee Stadium.
On Willis Avenue near the bridge.
We lived in the South Bronx. We lived on Vice Avenue near 172nd Street.
The section that in the Bronx that I live in was Morrisania.
Childhood in the Bronx was special in the 70s. It was more like a neighborhood. Everybody knew each other. A bunch of black and Hispanics just living all together in one community. Rap music was starting in the late 70s, although people think it was late 80s, but late 70s, Sugar Hill gangs, roller skating, block parties, the blackout in 77, everybody was outside until the sun came out. Being from the Bronx, having that soundtrack, wearing big fat lace Adidas sneakers with shell tops, Lee jeans, tapered bottoms, BVD t-shirts, just the way the music, the girls, and the hanging outside in the summertime. That's what I usually think of the Bronx as a kid.
It was fun, and it was a little dangerous too. Back then in the Bronx, they had gangs.
I lived in the buildings where a lot of my family was there, and it was fun, but like it was kind of ghetto where I lived, so my mom didn't like it.
My childhood in the Bronx was fairly good because we lived all in the same building. It was great because it was like if we had a huge community of family and friends that we knew, so we were always safe.
I loved growing up in the Bronx. It was so much fun. I had a lot of friends, and we used to, hang out in front of the building, and they used to open up the fire hydrant in the summer. I really loved my childhood in the Bronx.
It was a learning experience to me. Hanging out with my friends, the dancing.
My adolescence in the Bronx was fun because, again, we had a group. We always had a group that we united with. So we were a group of friends and we did everything together and we went out to the movies together.
My adolescence was pretty good, I think, mostly because I had teachers who cared a lot about me and exposed me to experiences that I hadn't had before.
Well, it was one of those days, not much to do. I was chilling downtown with my old school crew.
Crack, cocaine was rampant, and violence was rampant. My neighborhood turned into a gun show, basically. It was like Ricochet
I
Rabbit.
remember in my teens, when I was like 17, 19, people, just dying because of the epidemic of narcotics. That was the biggest problem we had in the Bronx. It was kind of sad seeing, so many people and so many friends being consumed by drugs. Many of my friends died during the 70s and in the mid 80s in the Bronx.
The abandoned buildings in the early 80s were all over the place.
The owners, a lot of times it was the owners of the buildings that would hire somebody to basically burn the building down so that they could collect the insurance money on the building. And it was a terrible time, and the crack epidemic was, one of the worst epidemics that have ever struck. When I was 10 or 14, there were heroin addicts in the neighborhood, but they knew you by name and they wouldn't assault you if they knew you. But when crack came, people started losing their sense of fear, and they would rob anybody. They would rob their own mother. And it was very sad to see, like around Jerome Avenue in the Bronx, women prostituting themselves for like very little money, and really suffering in the streets. So it was a really, really bad time.
Drug epidemic was probably the most difficult thing for me because I saw young people become prostitutes in the streets, and I saw what crack cocaine did. Primarily crack was very, very difficult. It was sad to see physically what crack did to you.